shit. Fuck. I messed it up again. Try that again. Oh boy. I'm good at this. Hello. How's it going? Stanley Parable. Ultra Door. Fun fact, I played the first one like 3 years ago anyways. That's when I had like 10 followers.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
And I had face cam.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
That's fun.
And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Good for him.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh shit, 1 second. Oh, okay, cool. Hello, how's it going? I'm playing the Stanley Parable. It's going good, how are you? God, this mouse sensitivity is so fucking high. Yeah, there we go.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I have no idea.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
That's crazy. I do hate Mondays. Going good, gonna watch Pitch Perfect with Burp Boy here shortly. Just want to stop by because I love this game. Also want to wish you a good stream. Thank you.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yes, I did. Also, have fun. You know, I was actually about to say, what movie are you gonna be watching? That's how fucking dumb I am. Pitch Perfect.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Talk less, be
Feeling a
unbelievable.
wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Put a ball up inside you, take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers, and resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Stripes. Require more secondary research. What is hot? Target demographic teenagers. Profits, 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 profits. Will do. Fifth global market parade. Parade. Everyone is unique. You most of all.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yes, I did. Hello, Mr. Boss. Are you here?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
Who knows?
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Oh, what's that?
2845.
Oh, shit.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
True.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
Absolutely.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh, yeah. Look at this newly opened passageway. Are you gonna tell me what to do? Nope. Okay. Oh, this is fascinating. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, but yeah, no, I looked it
Descending
up.
deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job.
Yeah.
Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Correct.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
And so I do. What was I saying? I looked it up so I can still get the achievement for not playing the Stanley Parable for 5 years by playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. That's good. Don't want to ruin. Don't want to ruin anything. Oh my god, a big button.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Whoa.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
I totally
Did he
thought
have
that.
the strength to find out?
Excuse me.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true
Fired,
nature revealed.
dead.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Play 457, there I am. Yep. Do be my office, though. Just think about how inefficient this must be as a way to monitor people.
This
Fired.
mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Oh shit, maybe.
No. He refused to believe it. He
did.
couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Apparently.
But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in,
Whoa.
Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
How do I do that? Five? Oh. Oh, okay. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Doop-doop-doop-a-bap-a-dap-bap.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Yes. Oh. Oh, poop.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty.
Oh god, I'm so uncertain.
Was it over?
Yes.
Yes. He had won.
Yippee.
He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
Yippee.
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
Who cares?
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
Who cares?
What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
None.
But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him.
Correct.
For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his
penis.
goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever
Correct.
life he lives, it will be his.
It is.
And that was all he needed to know.
Yeah.
It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
So I did.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him.
Cool.
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Oh yeah.
And Stanley was happy.
I'm very happy. Well, thanks for playing, everybody. That's a surprisingly short... Thanks for watching. It's a surprisingly short game. Beat the Stanley Parable. Awarded for getting your first... Awarding for getting any of the other achievements as your first. Delightful. Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map,
Yeah.
until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along.
Shit.
He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary
Yes, I
into
am.
the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes.
It's impressive.
So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
Alright, I'm gonna drink it in right now.
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Nope.
Ah, then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different?
No.
Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer?
Probably.
Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place.
Good point.
Now, think about it.
Yeah.
Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option?
Ooh, shit, yeah.
Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration?
As long as it
and
takes,
this is
baby.
rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option.
No.
And now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones.
Yay!
Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not.
Aw.
In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky.
Aw.
Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever.
Don't do
Cheers.
that. Cheers. Yeah. The letters have, like... Oh. Well, in the game again. Alright, now I'm gonna bet that the chair's not there.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh, the chair is here.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along.
Yes.
He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes.
So witty.
So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet? Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like, right now. You could have done it just then.
Ah, but I didn't.
Now would also be an appropriate time to quit.
But I didn't.
Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game.
You restart it for me?
Just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
Oh, I'd love that.
There once was a man named Stanley,
Okay.
who people considered so manly.
Manly.
But the truth must be told, he was not very old
24.
and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons.
Yes.
He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function.
Damn.
Which is why he is in this parable.
You can't jump. No, seriously, we
His
disabled it.
existence
I was pressing
quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable.
Yes.
You too will become quite unbearable.
Damn. That was a good song. Oh, does he play it again? Raven, what are you doing? He's like attacking the little fucking gremlin that you see in the bottom right of the screen. Raven, stop it! Do, 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 I can only do that for so long. Anyways, give me some buttons. Go back.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure.
Correct.
What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly.
Yep.
The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait.
I'm gonna wait.
Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell.
Damn.
But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come.
Hopefully.
Eventually, someday, they would arrive.
Yes.
Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Oh. All right.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Oh, damn. Like, actually, though? Man, that's kind of cringe. Gotta turn off every computer. Input received. Okay. God, my nose is itchy.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Plant. Still going left.
Yet there was not
Not
a
alter
single
without
person here
consulting
either.
whiteboard manager.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Fuck you.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
Correct.
No reason to still be here.
Room closet ending.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet.
Broom closet.
He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Fuck all.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Yep.
Standing around doing nothing? Why?
Room.
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Room closet. Ah, you thought.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right?
Yeah.
If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
True.
I never would have thought to mention it.
Ah, too bad. You gotta think about it now, bitch.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path.
Correct.
Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite."
1XD.
I hope your friends find this concerning.
Did you get the broom closet ending? Broom closet ending was my favorite.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid.
Aw.
He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is.
Oh, why?
That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yay! Who isn't?
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead.
Ah, shit,
You
true.
got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here,
Yeah.
when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system,
Yeah, I died.
and you collapsed on the keyboard.
Yes.
Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby
Please do.
so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
Yeah, that's good.
Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby?
I'm wearing
The
headphones.
person at this computer is dead.
I'm wearing
They have
headphones, I'm
fallen
sorry.
prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so
Yes.
that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them.
That'd be a good idea,
All right.
honestly.
When you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board.
Yeah,
I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Oh, you want to bet?
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids.
Oh, damn.
Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to.
Yeah, sure.
A fish?
Yeah.
Fungus?
Cat.
Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Okay, cool. I'll just be here for a second with the toilet paper. Oh yeah. Shit. Fuck. Oh, and the mop bucket. Oh god, yeah. Look at that shit. Look at that tool. Oh, the stapler. Oh, you like to see it. Let me take a sip of my water. That's that good shit. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Damn it. Red. Fuck you, I'm downstairs.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
Yeah.
He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a
1, 2, 3, 4.
single moment for no reason at all.
That would be crazy.
None of it made any logical sense.
Yeah.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Oh god.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were
Yeah.
they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
You can't.
And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
What's that?
He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
Ah!
He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an
Yeah.
explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
It's just some
He thought to
crazy
himself,
dream.
I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons.
Yep.
I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
Yes.
So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun,
Yay!
and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
I have no idea. That's crazy.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it
Maybe
particularly
11,
strange.
12. Yeah.
I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
Yeah.
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams,
Yeah.
the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
Yes.
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Yeah, just got a Monster Energy
Now,
drink.
hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream.
Yes.
Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that?
I have no
this
idea.
voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream.
Yeah.
I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please.
Yes,
It's
yes,
all
yes.
I want.
Press the buttons, please.
I want my apartment.
Yep.
And my wife.
I don't have one.
And my job.
Yes.
All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Yep. And he opened his eyes.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
Okay.
She rose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
Oh no.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
Oh no.
And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't.
Thank God I do too.
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
Good.
But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then
Only
she
a moment.
turned and ran.
If she turned and ran, that means she was responsible for the crime. All right.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, perhaps. New content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
I don't know. Door.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Yep.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
Yeah.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Cool.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Oh, me too.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Absolutely, positively.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've
Yay!
never been more ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if
Mostly tedious.
Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Yeah, it's...
All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Whoa! You can jump, even though the achievement says we disabled jumping. Aw. Aw. Guess that was all my jumps.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
I did have mad hops in there.
Goodness. Another elevator.
Oh, this
Stanley,
one.
I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive.
Ah.
It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
Oh,
If this
absolutely.
is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes.
Yippee!
I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Chair.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar.
Oh,
and
damn.
don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
Please do.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations.
No, you're fine.
If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Yeah. Oh, he resets it for me. Okay. Whoa.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent!
Oh.
I want to show you something!
Venting? Thus? Alright, hey, 1 second. Oh yeah, that's just back to the normal path. Okay. he find some new content in there?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it
Yeah.
got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
Yeah.
So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want.
That's a good zone.
Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Ah, that's a good memory. Whoa, look at this memory.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back
2013.
in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Good times. Yeah. The original remake. Buy it on Steam. Linguists identify 15,000-year-old ultra-conserved words. Washington Post. Research identified 24 words whose sound and meaning have survived past 15,000 years. 6 components of a great corporate cultist, John Coleman. Oh, it's 2013. Our first kiss, my first car, the release of Stanley Parable 2013. Greatest wealth is memory. Ah, there's the original ending. How good, how classic. Smile because it happened, a trip down memory lane. Stanley Parable on CD, $1. Stanley Parable demonstration, okay. Go outside, don't play for 5 years. Unachievable, it's impossible to get this achievement. See, the reason I hesitated to play this game is because I wanted the achievement in the original game, because it's been like 4 years since I played it. New video game releasing today, creators surprisingly down to earth. Business leaders pushing elections of council allies. Neat. Oh look, there's the dead ending. In memory of little Stanley. Aw.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was.
Yeah.
It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing.
Oh.
It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore.
Hello.
It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Yeah. How are ya? Tasteful, nostalgic, it was good.
Suck.
Ah, thank you for the suck. What's down here? Memory zone maintenance, okay. You're welcome. Person of the year, you. Ah, Stanley Parable. Oh look, there's the model and the girl.
Hashtag DOS is gay.
I'm gay, what? Ah, look at all this content. The end is never the end. It's never. Ah, fuck.
Here's another moving passage, this
Yeah.
time from GameSpot.com.
Nice.
The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that
Did you
offers
scare
some of the most
yourself?
enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything
Suck.
else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone,
Yeah.
to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Yeah. I see. Serious room. I can't get into the serious room. Oh well.
These were simpler times, Stanley.
Oh, simpler times.
What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
Yeah, it was on maintenance.
What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam.
Oh, no.
The online video game distributor. I haven't looked
no.
at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Yeah, there was a good review right here. It's just very blurry. Is that the fucking generator from Left 4 Dead? Excuse me, Jesus. Ah, the Steam reviews. What do you have to say? Nothing? What do you have to say? Nothing? What do you have to say? Nothing?
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I?
No.
You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can.
No, you're
My
not.
goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me.
This one's good.
To be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse.
Fuck.
You can't know how much
Hi,
fluff
Snake.
I cut from the
Fuck.
game
Hello,
to get it
hi.
to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't.
I thought it
Yeah.
was.
What an awful memory to have to hold on to.
Ah.
These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure.
Ah, you
Like
are.
I let these people down.
You did.
Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button?
A skip button. God!
Oh, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Okay, a skip button we shall have. Ah! Here, let me do something real quick. Lurk. Well, you just... you just fucking honk at me like 8 times and then leave? Bruh. Guess what? Reject all, lol. Alright.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it.
Cool.
It's what the players have been asking for,
Yeah.
and I'm very proud to have delivered.
Yeah.
No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people.
Yes.
And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get.
Absolutely.
Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue.
Yeah.
And it goes something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time,
Yeah.
at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah, 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245.
Yeah.
That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture.
True.
It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday.
Oh, shit,
Here
yesterday?
and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime.
Cool.
It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say... The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah, 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until
245.
That the
logical elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years. Until just yesterday.
Here and there,
forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be.
It's
the only thing there is.
How many
billions left until so much more than forever ago?
Which is why
I say...
The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on... Oh, you're back, you see.
Yeah.
You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games.
True.
Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations.
I mean,
not that, of course,
after
you
it
need a
repeated twice,
description
I
of
was
it,
just
but
like,
if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto.
A manifesto?
Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you
Okay.
can tell me what you think.
Please
Okay,
do.
So my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at
Yeah.
the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of
Erecting?
time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in
Yeah.
fact do the very opposite?
Something
You
like
see,
that.
it could in fact be both of these things at once.
Yeah.
That you are both making choices and not making choices.
My
And that
choice
they are
is to not
both
make a
affecting
choice.
you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them.
Yes.
Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it.
I do too.
But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history.
Manifesto.
Ambitious history, if you will. Ah. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto.
Ah, sorry.
Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay,
Yes.
look. I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently.
What's that?
I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's
True.
rescued me from disaster in countless situations.
I believe that.
All right, here we go.
Treatise.
Treatise.
Manifesto.
Manifesto.
Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. manifesto, treatise, 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 manifesto. Clack is live. Treatise, manifesto. Cool. Treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto. Would you not? Treatise, manifesto. Want to be here? Treatise, manifesto. Instead, treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto. Isn't this treatise, manifesto cooler? Treatise, manifesto. JK, treatise, manifesto. I'm kidding. Treatise, manifesto. 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 Treatise, manifesto.
Dawson's game.
Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Not gay. Treatise, fuck. Manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. I got a treatise, manifesto. Drink water. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise,
Manifesto.
fuck. Treatise, manifesto. 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 Thank you. Treatise, manifesto. 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 Ah, fuck.
Treatise.
Manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise,
Manifesto.
pesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Also, my posture is good. Treatise, manifesto. Thank you. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto.
Treatise.
Manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Write that down. Treatise, manifesto. There's a good rate for treatise, manifesto. When you rate out treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. It is treatise, manifesto. 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 I got it.
Treatise.
Manifesto. I don't want to skip it. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. People at the treatise, manifesto. Other end would be treatise, manifesto. Completely confused. Treatise, manifesto. True. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. It's been treatise, manifesto. About treatise, manifesto. 4 minutes. Treatise, manifesto. 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 Treatise, manifesto.
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of
Did
the
you figure
button.
out what it
the
was,
minute I start
please?
to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this.
Oh,
and
me
whether
too.
they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know
Treatise.
one can change their review in
Manifesto.
the first place.
Treatise.
I guess I should
Manifesto.
become better educated on exactly
Treatise.
how Steam
Manifesto.
works. Perhaps
Treatise.
that would have been the smart thing to
Manifesto.
check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular
Treatise.
user the ability
Manifesto.
to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality.
Yeah. What do I do now? Is there anything behind the skip button? Nope. He did just kind of stop talking. Am I supposed to skip the nothingness?
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I
Yes.
should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer.
Oh.
That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes?
Oh.
It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know
didn't
it's shocking,
talk,
isn't it?
okay?
But at
You
any
stopped
rate,
talking.
I do suggest that we not press the button again.
Yes.
I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How
Yeah.
else would we have gotten into the room in the first place?
Shit, I don't know.
think
I was just
one
thinking
can
about
enter a
treatise
room without
manifesto.
a door of some sort, or a window, or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole?
No.
A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button to
I
go
did.
anywhere other than the skip button.
Yeah.
There was a door here before, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I swear there was. Where did it go?
Over there.
Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We
I'm
need
trying.
a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another.
Yes.
I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door.
Oh, please do.
I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please,
Okay.
please. Please do not press the skip button. Just
All right.
wait here for me, and don't press the skip button.
Okay, okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Yes, good.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
be right back.
All right, I will also be right back. Please tell me if anything changes. I have to pee. Treatise. Manifesto. Manifesto. treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto, treatise, manifesto. Alright, nothing's happened.
Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours.
Jesus.
You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
Can you restart?
I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again.
Ah.
I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it. And I
Can't restart the game?
I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking and thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews.
Yeah, it's your
those
fault
reviews
that we're
I
here.
couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are. What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me.
Yeah.
The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child, wild and impulsive. I can't help myself.
Damn.
I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single negative comment.
Treatise,
What does
manifesto,
such an impulse serve?
treatise,
For whose benefit is this?
manifesto.
Here I am now, stuck in a room, waiting for you to press this button, and to become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it, and that I'm going to be stuck all alone, and that I had the power to prevent it all from happening, if only I'd held my tongue. It's all out of my control now. Just you. Just your decision as to exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it. Surely you'll press that button again, leaving me here. And surely you'll put your own desire to see what's next ahead of my need for company, for companionship. Surely you'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety, that you sit with me and just stay here. Oh, no, I know you too well.
I'll give it a
You'll
little
be
bit.
leaving me. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so
Wait,
much
why
to
did you
me?
just
I've never
repeat
even
it?
met Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are.
Why are you
What would
repeating?
it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child, wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one
if you
person
don't
who
repeat
made a
again.
single negative comment. What does such an impulse serve?
Taking balls.
For whose benefit is this?
Yours.
And here I am now, stuck in a room, waiting for you to press this button, and to become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it, and that I'm going to be stuck all alone.
Is he
and that
supposed
I
to
had the
repeat it?
power to prevent it all from happening, if only I'd held my tongue. It's all out of my control now. Just you. Just your decision as to exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it. Surely
Eventually.
you'll press that button again, leaving me here. And surely you'll put your own desire to see what's next ahead of my need for company, for companionship. Surely you'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety, that you sit with me and just stay here.
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
do that.
No, I know you too well.
What?
You'll be leaving me. Oh my God.
Oh
And
god,
it's
he's
all
not
because
even.
of those reviews.
Fuck you.
Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with.
Sorry.
And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing.
Yeah.
Would you think that it's exactly the same as always?
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking?
I mean, I
It
talk.
isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed
There's
to
a
know
camera
that
here.
someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction.
Maybe.
Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps. Yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence
Treatise.
and be consumed
Manifesto.
by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me.
True.
When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in
Treatise.
those moments,
Manifesto.
the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality curdling inward and decaying. I can tell that I am becoming less and less real. Yet to speak to you now, I am alive. I am truly and completely here. I am a being. I am someone. I am something. I am being listened to. I am being recognized. The emptiness between us has collapsed,
Yay!
and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction.
But what if I skip
feel
again?
as though I occupy space in this world again, and I have cast a shadow onto the wall. You see what I'm saying, don't you?
Something like that.
You can see what this means to me.
Yes,
I'm so
everything.
clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I
Good.
feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time.
Yep.
What a terrible dread it strokes in my heart to think of it. To think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment. Let us anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it.
Okay. Gotta check on something. You wanna know the most whack shit that just happened? I cut my finger with a fucking butter knife. Anyways.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let
Nope.
me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life.
Damn.
All of them collapsed down into a single instant.
That's crazy,
In that
dude.
instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it.
Oh,
I could do
damn.
nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the same moment.
Yeah.
And I felt freed. I felt unburdened by the need to manifest a
Manifesto.
particular outcome into being. I saw that I could allow myself to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible. The
Nice.
spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the
Good for
longest
him.
time, this was my experience. And then this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible. I have been waiting for you.
Okay.
Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence.
What's that?
I wish you to feel afraid as I do.
Okay.
That perhaps one day this state of mind will consume you as well. Perhaps you will somehow, in some way, have to live as I do now, and I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival. If I can only do this, only this one thing, perhaps it will bring me the smallest moment of peace in the darkness.
Okay. Is there a door yet? I just wanted to like completely turn around on everything and be like, holy fuck, a door! Treatise. Manifesto. 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 But yeah, I was cutting butter for my dinner. Apparently, buttered knives can cut. Silence is deafening. Manifesto. Treatise. Manifesto. Treatise. Oh, the smoke alarm battery's out. Hello, Bean. How are you? Oh, that's been a smoke alarm this entire time. Hello. Good, how
But they
about
didn't
you?
understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had
I cut my finger on a butter knife.
to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability, it's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said...
I have really good butter knives, apparently. But yeah, no, I was just cutting a stick of butter in the pack with the skin still on, as one does. And I didn't realize my finger was in the way, and I cut myself.
Because it was spoken.
It's
now,
a tiny little
it
cut,
simply has to
but
happen.
surprisingly deep.
The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and
That's some impressive shit right there, thank you.
discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives.
Yep.
It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as
In case you're wondering why the name of the stream is Treatise Manifesto, is because I sat here for 4 minutes repeating Treatise Manifesto along with the narrator.
people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves.
Yes.
What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm center of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves. I am a waypoint for reasonable and collected discourse.
Cool.
They're the ones who are mad.
Yes.
They're the ones who couldn't stand the idea
Treatise.
of me using my
Manifesto.
game to try to say something.
Treatise.
Maybe they were just jealous
Manifesto.
of me. Yes.
Yes, of course.
They've been jealous of me this whole time. They are mired in fear and insecurity and cannot help but attempt to tear me down. What a sad state of affairs. When you read these reviews now, you can see it. You can taste the bitter resentment.
Oh, yeah.
And my, how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these thoughts out, contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think, to feel. It must be that they...
This is just one of the new content. It's been 40 minutes. Someone trying to cut themselves with a butter knife sounds like a dull thing to just... God damn it.
They were so discontent with themselves, they couldn't help but leave a negative review on Steam. Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said about me. Perhaps the state of their psychological being was in such tatters, and my constitution and willpower are so ironclad in comparison. Perhaps it was this state that they sought some outlet through which to tear me down. This, you can see, is clearly why they felt the need to expect that the game be funny, that it be filled with
Pretty
yucks
funny.
and whimsical humor, that it amused them endlessly from start to finish. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the
wait,
jokes?
shit,
They
he's just
bemoaned, they
repeating
screamed,
again.
they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had...
So, every time I press the skip button, the amount of time between skips grows by a lot. Apparently, this has been years at this point.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
So again, I'm trying to watch 3 streams at once.
End is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Fuck! End is never the end.
Is never the end, 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 is
End is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. No, I missed it! No, I'm sorry. Probably put a sick beat behind that though, just be like. Oh. Oh. Okay, the wall has been destroyed. Ah!
Suck.
Yeah, fucking thank you for the suck. Damn, that suck was louder than I thought. Never mind. What were you gonna say? Oh, the end is never the end is never the end is end. Very peaceful. Anyways, I've essentially put this guy in an eternal cycle of torment. Oh. Very depressed. Don't like. POV my life. Loading. The end is. Sans?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign.
Yeah.
Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Oh, please, Years of Torment. Or this door, perhaps. Nope. S. S.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be.
I've been liking
it.
it.
The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh. Okay. Hell yeah. The end is never the end
Yes,
again.
you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think
Yeah.
of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Yes. It is. Welcome, Investor Showcase Stanley Parable 2. Ace the sequel. Ba tu tui de. Russian. Tu dua zwe do dos tvo. Ace the sequel.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra
You know Russian?
Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
They're back, two doors. And no suka. Reasonable. New content is out. New content part 2 is in. It means bitch. More TSP, better TSP. Win to win. Paradigm shift, synergy, brick and mortar approach. Envelop client-centric marketing. The color is red. Leverage holistic value. Stanley Parable 2 logo ideas. Alright, let's see if we can name the games. Obviously this one, The Last of Us. I don't know. Resident Evil. Thanks for attending my meeting. Stanley Parable 2 Two Plants. Oh look, there's two Stanleys.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic
French
than
and
anything
Japanese? Hell
scientific
yeah.
or logical, really.
The Stanley Parable 2 is the sequel to the Stanley Parable is the prequel to the Stanley Parable 2 is the sequel. 2. Okay. Sequels are good. Portal 2, Half-Life 2, Batman Arkham Asylum 2, City, Divinity Original Sin 2, Doom 2, Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, and Dark Souls 2. Those are all good 2s, yes. Whoa. Crab, the ultimate sequel. Crab, the ultimate sequel. Bird. You are the sequel. Shit. Every pause button is a Roman numeral. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. Hey, you and I. This way to the show floor then. New features. Ah, yes. What are the new features? Ah, yes. Whoa!
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Ooh, hear your name in the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in
hop in
mind,
VR chat and get
my
yourself
first
ready?
addition
Hell
to the
yeah.
game is this button, which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Jim.
No.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever
Yeah.
name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to
Okay,
really
okay.
simulate the full experience of this feature.
All right, I am
Just play
Jim.
along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply
Yeah.
become a person named Jim.
I am Jim.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust.
Damn.
Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right
Yeah,
now?
I am so
If
Jim.
so, then please step forward and press the button.
Okay.
Jim.
Whoa!
Yes,
That's like my
you
name.
see? What a thrill! What a
In the
rush! That was
game.
you! The button described
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah,
Do it
yeah.
again. Do it again.
Holy shit, that's my name in the game. I am Jim.
Jim.
Oh,
It
hits
hits
harder,
even harder
the
the second time.
That's
If
my
this were
name.
the only new feature
Holy
in the
shit.
Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
Yeah.
Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy.
Oh.
Sometimes a person can be too much Jim.
How'd they know my name? I don't
I'm putting
know.
the Jim button away.
No, the
Otherwise,
Jim button.
soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim. Jim. Jim.
Well. Damn. Guess that's my experience of being Jim. Can I press this button? Nope. Just the two of us.
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
A whole new office. Wow. Red is the new orange. The new updated ray traced more of the same, but in a good way, the sequel. Consistent quality with just the right amount of change. Fun, this is the player name. Jump circle, infinite hole. Let's see. Oh, that's new. Free and easy achievement. I can't believe that simple. Stanley Parable 2. Get it here. Free achievement. Get yours right away. Pull the lever, receive your new achievement. No more steps. It just works. Get yours right now. Feels,
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
I want my achievement. Give me my achievement. Damn. Nothing over here. Okay. Back to the room.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
The jump circle. Oh,
You
but
know
I
what?
used all my jump.
Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well.
Okay.
Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle?
Yeah.
Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Oh, that was it? That was all my jump? Bruh. Okay. Collectible. Can you find them?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them.
Ah.
I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Hell yeah. Whoa. Whoa! I did it.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Infinite hole or the bucket? Which do I do? I kinda want the bucket. Hole? Okay. It won't end. Oh, what's in here?
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one.
Oh shit,
I
my
think
bad.
that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
12th birthday step-niece. Yippee!
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Okay, okay. Okay, now I go to the hole. Ooh, that's new. Let's see, collectibles, free achievement, infinite hole. But the bucket. That's what I have chose. Well, good thing it goes for you. Hole like infinity, falling. Okay. Opening, rim, surrounding area, depth, infinite.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top.
But it's infinite.
Do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things. Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
Oh
Is it a
shit.
very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extreme...
Go back, then head back in the hole. Okay.
I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite... Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it
Yeah,
again?
I did need to
don't
see
know
it
what else
again.
there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other fascinating exhibits that I prepared for you. I really spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley. I'll be honest with you. I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole
Meeting
long
at 2
enough
p.m.
to hit the bottom. Yes, I know. I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall forever? The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe it's you who likes falling too much. Maybe you're the problem.
Maybe.
Look, things got a little heated there. I think
I
we
throw all
both
their
said some
cigarettes
things
here.
we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press
It's
the
got
teleport
strong legs
button
for them to
to
not
walk
break.
up to the top of the hole, and we can
Just
move
keep
on.
doing it until
I'll
he
just
gets
be up
more
here when
annoyed.
you're ready.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Whoops.
Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much.
Yeah. I love holes.
A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to
Hey,
you
yo.
this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above.
Oh, okay.
Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime.
Okay, yeah, let me just...
Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length.
New mug.
Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Oh, okay, yeah, let's.
Well, there it is. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working?
No.
You sure?
Help! Help!
Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole.
No.
And now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for.
No.
It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole. I get to do literally anything else.
No!
Take care, Stanley.
Oh.
I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Oh, me too. Help! Help! Mr. Freeman. Help! Whoa. The hole. Change your perception.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley!
What?
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley.
Bro, I
because
looked
this
away for
world is
1
just
second.
so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment.
Oh, yeah.
So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the whole?
Okay, yeah.
From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back.
Little bit.
Toodle-pip.
Gee. Okay, I still can't teleport. Oh, that was the end. Getting on VR. See you there. See you
Here we
there.
are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Insurance bucket. Yeah, I'll be doing this
A
for
common
like
complaint of the Stanley
hour
Parable
more, maybe?
was that
Half
it
an
was
hour?
confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after
Raven.
much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be?
Yeah.
Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try. Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well?
Yay!
I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more awaits you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Yippee! Taking the bucket with me. To the hole. The button that says gym.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
You heard gym in the game. Mostly infinite hole, new and easy achievement. Can't believe it's that simple. What have I missed? Ah, going upstairs. So comforted by this bucket, but got you. This is new.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mostly infinite hole. Fine, it ended. Just works. It doesn't work. But maybe since I have the bucket. Maybe. Just maybe, since I have the bucket, it will work. Who knows? The bucket is all powerful. Maybe I could be comforted. Damn it. Damn it. See the hole, the achievement, collectibles. Jump circle, I did it. Settings world champion, couldn't do that. Reassurance bucket, I got that. Office decorations, already did that. Epilogue, no collectibles. Okay, exit. It appears that I've experienced everything in this room.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to?
Yeah.
Ready to move on now?
Yeah. Is in shadow. No screenshots, please.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I
True.
can feel it in my soul.
Gonna work.
It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Whoa.
I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort
Yeah.
of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags.
There's two holes.
And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
Yeah.
I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game.
Was it back yesterday
I
'cause
wanted
I fell
fans
asleep
to
in my
love it.
shower?
No
That's
matter how
alright.
good
I
these
have two
gags
holes?
are, they won't
Oh.
stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
True.
Would it possibly work?
I'm playing VR chat? Hell
Suppose it
yeah.
could, but it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up.
Oh, do it.
All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Okay. Stanley Parable 2. That's very nice. That's a very good thing. I wonder if he would like get mad at this. Perfect. I'm gonna go get some food. When we raid Rain, please say treatise manifesto, because it'd be funny. We're raiding my friend Click Clack Clout. Good guy. Super fun. He's playing It Takes Two. Make sure you say treatise manifesto, because it's funny. Can we raid KSM? KSM streaming. He is. Raid. In. There we go. Remember, say treatise manifesto. Funny. Yes. Alrighty. Goodbye, everybody. We are ready for battle. Yes. I will see you later. Treatise manifesto. Treatise manifesto.